TomoNews presents Stupid Criminals. No!
Florida Facebooker arrested after posting drug-related selfie. This is a Facebook photo of Taylor Harrison with 2 sticky icky buds stuffed in his mouth. This is a Facebook photo of Harrison handling a bag filled with drugs next to a police vehicle. And this is a photo of Harrison arriving in Martin County Jail last Thursday. As if selfies aren't dumb enough already. A Port St. Lucie, Florida man was arrested after posting photos of himself handling drugs onto Facebook. Apparently thinking it'd be a good idea to show his buddies how easy it was to deal drugs right under the nose of Martin County authorities, Taylor Harrison reportedly pulled up alongside a deputy's vehicle and whipped out a stack of cash and some drugs before posing for a photo. Well, the sheriff's office decided to give him the publicity he seems to have been craving so bad by posting the photos onto their very own Facebook page, along with a photo of the 20-year-old selling weed to undercover officers and, unsurprisingly, his eventual mugshot.
Teens get busted in carjacking because they can't drive a stick. Thug Life 101. If you're going to steal a car, make sure you know how to drive it first. Or else you'll end up behind bars like 17-year-old Anthony Evans Warner. Evans Warner and his 15-year-old accomplice carjacked a medical student at gunpoint as he was entering his apartment community over the weekend. After ordering the man out of the car, the suspects quickly figured out they had no idea how to drive the getaway car because it was a stick shift. In an odd turn of events, the suspects forced the victim to teach them how to drive a car with manual transmission. When the suspects thought they had it under control, they kicked the victim out of the car. He, of course, called police, who quickly spotted the suspects who were driving slowly through the neighborhood. The teens tried to flee on foot but were easily apprehended. The car was returned to the victim. Evans Warner and the juvenile are both in jail, facing charges including aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon.
24 hours ago,
bank robber runs past live news reporter.
What?
Hello, it's me again. Ryan Lisco told bank employees during his second robbery of Sterling State Bank in Rochester, Minnesota. The back-to-back bank robber made off with $3,000 on Monday and returned again on Tuesday, walking out with $1,000 this time. However, he walked right past Adam Sallet of KIMT News 3, who was reporting live on the heist from the previous day. Just watch.
Tyler, just 24 hours ago, this bank in North... What? Oh, that's the robber. This is live TV, folks. That's the robber. Just went by, according to the bank employee. So I gotta go here and call 911. I'll talk to you later.
Just to clarify, that was the bank employee who came running out, pointing at Lisco, who was walking on Bandle Road behind the camera. The reporter later tweeted an update that the suspect had been caught. Lisco was arrested just south of the Twin Cities. He admitted to both robberies as well as stealing his father's vehicle.
California car thief spray paints himself black to hide from cops. After stealing a vehicle, a California man decided to camouflage himself to hide from authorities by spray painting his face black Saturday evening near Fresno. Jose Espinosa was allegedly driving a stolen car in Madera County when police tried to pull him over. After running from cops, the 23-year-old wanted to disguise himself, so he doused his head and neck with black spray paint. Madera police, however, got word of the stolen vehicle in the area that matched Espinosa's description. But he thought he was fooling everyone with his inappropriate, darker complexion. Little did he realize his camouflage was very ineffective. Cops caught this criminal and booked him on charges of theft. Really, who are you fooling sporting blackface, you idiot?
Maxipad bandit busted for stealing battery chargers. Earlier this week, a man robbed an auto parts store in Apple Valley, California. And out of all disguises he could have picked, he went with a strategically placed maxipad over his eyes. Surveillance footage from the Battery Mart shows the Mexican man roll out of his white Dodge Dynasty, break into the store, and then start helping himself to battery chargers and flashlights. Police identified the man as 51-year-old Gary Victor, and according to reports, believe he was under the influence of something. Apparently, Victor was seen casing the joint with no menstrual pad, making it all too easy for the police to put two and two together. While this probably isn't the most carefully planned heist, you can't help but wonder how he manages to see around it with a giant white pad over his eyes.
Criminal incriminates himself with a selfie photo on Facebook. This dopey would-be thief posts everything on his Facebook, even his crimes. Mr. Guo, age 29, was upset that his boss still owed him $200 US in back salary. So he decided to steal tools and equipment from his boss's company late one evening. He loaded everything in a minivan, then took a selfie to document the heist. Later, his boss spotted the photo on Mr. Guo's Facebook and also noticed inappropriate photos of one of his female employees, which had clearly been taken without her knowledge. His boss was furious and reported Mr. Guo to the police. He didn't have to. Mr. Guo had already taken the stolen equipment to the police station and turned himself in, telling the officer on duty that it was just a joke he was playing on his boss. The police held him for questioning. After they had conducted an interview and were compiling the written report, one officer caught Mr. Guo attempting to upload a photo of the report to Facebook. This guy's sure got a serious case of cell phone addiction, that's for sure.
Break-in suspect arrested after winning police-sponsored donut eating contest. Talk about getting your just desserts. The moron you see pictured here, a wanted suspect in 2 break-in cases, quite literally took a bite out of his own crime after showing up to and winning a police donut eating contest last week. Elizabeth City, North Carolina resident Bradley Hardison apparently thought it would be a good idea to take part in a donut eating contest sponsored by the city's police department last Tuesday. And everything seemed to be going great after the 24-year-old managed to wolf down 8 desserts in 2 minutes, enough to win the event and land himself in the local paper. His success turned out not to be so sweet, though, after an officer reading the story recognized Hardison, who was wanted in connection to those 2 break-in cases. Hardison no doubt had a glazed look on his face when the cops came to arrest him.
Idiot calls himself Batman, announces his crimes on Facebook. Mr. Zhao is a 33-year-old idiot. Police in Taiwan arrested him after he announced on his Facebook that he'd stolen someone's phone and wallet. In fact, Mr. Zhao challenged his victim to call the stolen number and said he'd never get it back because Mr. Zhao believed himself to be Batman. In fact, Mr. Zhao had his own built-in eye mask. Mr. Zhao suffers from a skin condition that caused some of the skin around his eyes to be lighter than the rest of his skin. The lighter skin around his eyes gives him a reverse raccoon look, hence his claims of being a masked bandit. Too bad he couldn't remember the first rule of being Batman. Don't tell anyone you're Batman, stupid.
Brazilian robbers wrap themselves in tinfoil to avoid alarm system. Remember that awesome Rio de Janeiro heist and chase sequence from Fast 5? Well, this attempted robbery is absolutely nothing like that. Rather than going all Ethan Hunt and pulling Mission Impossible Cirque du Soleil, these 2 Brazilian bank robbers this weekend wrapped themselves in tinfoil in a bid to avoid alarm sensors. Surprisingly, the kooky plan worked, but the spacey duo were still picked up on CCTV. And seeing this, security at Banco do Brasil in Praia Grande called the cops. However, the would-be tinfoil burglars escaped in a white sports car and are reportedly still on the run. Although the cops did make an arrest and are questioning a 3rd suspect believed to be the duo's lookout who was hiding in the bushes nearby. So it looks like this case can't be wrapped up just yet.
One New Jersey pot dealer's day went up in smoke last week after texting a wrong number, advertising his merch for sale. A full £1/4 pound of skunk. Sparta Township idiot Nicholas Delia Jr., 33, texted out the message. Moronically unaware the recipient was none other than the 10-year-old son of a police officer. After posing as the intended buyer, the officer met him at a local pizzeria. But smelling something sus, Delia lickety-split. But the officer was on his tail. Delia refused to consent to a search, but a canine whiffed out the drugs in the vehicle and the officer got his warrant. They dug up 4 bags of pot, $620 in cash, and a digital pocket scale. He faces numerous drug charges and is scheduled to appear in Sparta Municipal Court on October the 10th.
Fugitive hated his mugshot, so he sent cops a better one. Then it went viral, and now he's arrested. Lima, Ohio police were on the hunt for Donald Chip Pugh, who was wanted for failure to appear in court for a drunk driving charge. He was also a person of interest in several other arson and vandalism cases. And by looking at his past criminal history, Pugh doesn't seem very concerned with keeping out of jail. One thing Chip Pugh does care about is how he looks in his mugshot. So he sent Lima police a new mugshot to use instead. "Man, they just did me wrong," Pugh said in a radio interview. "They put a picture that made me look like I was a Thundercat or something." Does anyone else think Chip looks more like Carlton from The Fresh Prince? It wasn't long before the fugitive's face was plastered across digital media. And a few memes were born. Can you find Chip Pugh? Okay, that was easy. How about this one? He's right there. Someone even made up a Chip Pugh dance, which again looks a lot like Carlton.
Y'all off with this one. This gonna be that Chip Pugh for y'all niggas. Hello.
And with that amount of exposure, it should be no surprise that he was busted. However, not by Lima police. He was caught in Florida by the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, thanks to a tip. Chip made sure to smile for his most recent photo shoot. Now that is a mugshot. We're glad to see Chip has finally learned his lesson.
Todd Herberg, 53, and Scott Luker, 55, thought they could clean out the car wash by taking its money. But they were wrong. In true stupid criminal fashion, the two men first altered their Jeep SUV's license plates with black electrical tape, changing D's into B's. In what would prove to be wasted effort, the pair used an inverter rigged inside their car to power a shop vacuum cleaner, which they used to suck quarters from a standalone car wash vacuum cleaner. After going about it for 12 minutes, a passing police officer noticed the crudely altered license plate, then realized what the two men were up to. Unsurprisingly, they were arrested. Police say they're unsure how many coins the pair managed to get, but the machine likely contained no more than $30.
Chances are this guy has more snake in his pants than you ever will. What if I told you there was a guy in Portland, Oregon with a 2-foot-long snake in his pants? Well, there is. And this video shows exactly how it got there. The sticky-fingered freak put it there. Yikes! A to Z Pets owner Kristen Bugan checked the surveillance video after an employee notified her on Friday that the black pastel ball python was missing. The video shows the suspect walk into the store and look around before making his way to the reptile area. He then stuffs a 2-foot-long snake into his trousers before slipping out the door. Bugan said the thief is lucky it wasn't feeding day. We here at TomoNews kinda wish it was. The pet shop owner also told Fox News that the python is worth $200. Police are still looking to identify the thief and his blue-haired female accomplice. But who knows? Maybe she wasn't his accomplice after all, and instead, someone the thief was trying to impress.
2 Fresno men were bitten in the ass by the law when they accidentally butt-dialed 911 during an alleged burglary. Nathan Teklemariam and Carson Reinhardt were out driving last week when one of them accidentally butt-dialed 911. After trying to get the caller's attention, the dispatcher listened in on the 2 men talking about smoking weed. About 40 minutes later, the dispatcher heard, "Get the bolt and give me the hammer just in case," shortly followed by the sound of a window breaking. He then heard the dynamic duo celebrating because they found prescription drugs in the car they had broken into. "They're narcos, yeehaw," one of them was heard saying. As the 2 were driving away, police were already searching the area for them based on clues the dispatcher was feeding to them.
Behind me, dude. Oh, he's following me, dog. He's following the at me, bro. Wow, what the did I do?
After the 2 were arrested, officers explained to the 2 men how they were caught. Teklemariam and Reinhardt were jailed on 1 count each of burglary, conspiracy to commit a crime, and possession of stolen property.